Dry fit or test fit everything. It might take you a little bit longer in the initial startup, but it's going to save you time down the road. So there's 3 different crossovers in the SB 12.3, and there's a bunch of different coils, and I want all of them on a different plane to make sure that they're not interfering with each other. I also want to make sure that when I'm putting my back plate on, where the connections are actually going to hook up to the exterior part of the speaker, that there's enough room there that nothing is going to be kind of in the way of the coils either. So test fitting these components definitely helped me pick out a layout. Now I did have to modify one of the crossovers. The crossover for the 12-inch driver, I was able to cut off the edge, and this way I was able to put all of the crossovers down onto the bottom plate of that speaker. Even for just your straight box components, dry fitting these things and putting them together, it'll give you a chance to, if you have to, cut anything, trim anything. It's how I found out the interior bracing was all just a little hair off. It wasn't much, but it would have made a difference of how I would have had to assemble this box, and I would have taken the time later on to have to PL or gap fill. It's just not best practice. So I discovered that, and it was with my material thickness, that was the problem there. But anyway, I found the problem before I had to worry about gluing and doing all of that to get it right. Finding this out after I would have glued all the pieces would have really sucked. I personally like to use these Irwin quick clamps. I've got 2 different models of them, or different variations that I use when I'm dry fitting my stuff. Anyway, I'll leave a link down to those in the description where you guys can pick these things up off of Amazon. Now, dry fitting is especially useful if you have any kind of angled speakers that really are fussy with how that whole plane kind of goes into the box, like they did on the Zap Audio 12.3s. This kind of gave me a chance to get the holes in the right spot for the side, and that helps me make sure that I've got the speaker, the separate box on the inside of the box, totally sealed off and not leaking from the sub or the main woofer chamber to the other smaller drivers, which is really going to interfere with the sound quality. I decided to screw this box together, and that gave me a good chance to kind of pre-fit everything, clamp it, drill the holes, and then the pieces really want to fit back into that same initial spot, as long as you're a little careful when you're putting the screws back in. So it makes assembly a whole heck of a lot easier. And the screws act as a double feature for me. They kind of clamp and hold things in place as well while that glue sets up. The other perk of dry fitting everything is if you don't have patience and you're using screws, you get a chance to quickly hook stuff up and just kind of play with components briefly to just satisfy that craving until you get that whole speaker put together. If you'd like to learn more about how to make perfect circles inside your speaker boxes, I will leave a video link here as soon as that one's done.